Okay, I got dressed. I found my bra. It was upstairs in my house. But I got out of that, a wet shirt. Is this gonna be the final outfit of the day? Am I not gonna change again before I decide to finish getting ready? Probably not. This is probably not what I'm gonna wear, but you know. They cute, she cute. You know, I grew up being very skinny, being very thin, and very attractive. I did have what I did not recognize at the time was you know, some body dysmorphia. I thought I was fat. This is the first thing I'm going to use on my face because I'm going to show you how I get makeup. This is Urban Decay eyeshadow primer potion. It's also great to put on my eyebrows. I forgot to find eyebrow stuff because this is as high as my eyebrow pencil goes right now. Canst thou see? It's mostly just on the edge. So I'll just like swipe it over, whatever I do. But my eyebrows are not gonna be the right color today. But yeah, where was I? Yeah, I was thin. I was very attractive, and I spent the first 3/4 of my life thinking I was fat and ugly. And I wish I could go back in time and slap that person. This is liquid eyeliner, but maybe it'll work. No, okay, here. This is probably our best bet between these two. Whatever. But, the point. Sorry, this is something I get nervous talking about. And also it's poorly lit over here. But luckily, I keep a floor lamp in my bathroom. It's because this is a speaker bulb. This bulb is a speaker, and so I can play my music through it. It didn't work in the ceiling light in my shower stall. Sorry, speaking of stalling, I'm telling a story. Yeah, I spent that buttload of time thinking I was fat and ugly, which I know that's the third time I've said it, but it's a good place to start for this. And I wasn't at all. And then, you know, I talked about ending up in a really big depression in when I was studying in New York, which wasn't great. And I finally got around to connecting with a new therapist or psychiatrist, whatever, drug prescriber. I've done all of the talk therapy stuff, just like for the record, in case anybody was wondering. Yeah, I've done talk therapy. I've done the DBT, the CBT, all of the T's. And I did that most of my life, from the age of like 6 or 7, all the way through to like my 20s. And by 20s, I mean like until I left the house. So 18-ish, closer to 19. But that's because I'm an October baby. And so, you know, I've tried to go back to therapy since. Haha, my caboodle. I've tried to go back to therapy since, and that's all fine and dandy, except I am disgustingly self-aware of myself and my emotions, and like, this is why I feel this is why I feel that. I just, you know, there's nothing I can do about the fact that this makes me feel like this or that or the other thing. Sorry, this is another thing that starts getting me a little emotional. Maybe I'm just a whiny little bitch. Sorry, I'm not. I try not to be. And so is this the palette I've been looking for? Maybe. A few years ago, Drew Barrymore came out with these flower palettes. Yeah, they're really nice, and they've got instructions on the back. Like, is this the look you want to go for? This is how you do it. And I don't know where they are anymore. Like, did they not sell them anymore? Did she discontinue it? Because I want her to continue it. I love these. Anyway, when I was in New York and finally started going back, I finally got myself a psychiatric care professional in that area. Hold on, I gotta get water. I just had to prove that I was in fact drinking water. This is gonna go in my disgusting sink. When I finally did that, I was she put me on new medication, which ended up not helping at all. But at least I sort of felt like I was putting some kind of effort into taking care of myself. And at this point, I'd gotten a little thicker. Because I've always been curvy. It has always been an hourglass figure since before I hit puberty. It was much smaller then, but then I hit puberty and it was like, boom, boom. And, which was, as for someone that put a lot of effort into being a tomboy, as a child, it was incredibly embarrassing, and made me very uncomfortable with my body, which probably did not help those body image issues to come. Sorry. My parents are playing with my kid upstairs. They're having a very good time. I don't know if you could hear, but I can hear. Yeah, so I was in those early years of my 20s. And so, your body just naturally, especially as a woman, your body just naturally starts getting a little different. You don't always have, but like, it was like this much more rounder in places. And it was like a small tightening of my clothes in here and in here, which 100% like my sleeves are very flowy, which made those body image problems, delusions. It's a delusion. Dysmorphia. I don't know if it clinically is a delusion, but like, it's a little bit of a delusion because you're not seeing what's really there. I'm not a medical professional. Please do not come at me. But that, it made my body image problems so much worse. And then when I finally saw a professional, I got all my makeup out for the purpose of efficiency, and I'd like show you the whole lineup, but my counter is disgusting. I showed it in a short, if you want to check that out. But, oh, this is what I'm putting on my eyebrows. It's an old e.l.f. eyebrow palette. I got this one brush for it. I'll put it in front of my face so it's on a milky white background. Fuck. But yeah, the medication she put me on, which, while great because it made me feel, I'm gonna wipe this, like I was doing something, anything, it made me gain weight. And which did not help my depression or body image problems. I gained, like, it's gonna sound like a large range because I was at like, I gained like, I'm doing math, and I'm not good at that. Well, I'm not good at that when, like, there's pressure and people paying attention to me. And I like to think somebody out there is paying attention to me right now. Yeah, I should not have wet that. But I can't get the stuff out otherwise. Whatever. You know what? I'll use my finger. It's really old, so it's like a eyebrow wax. Anyway, that's sort of working. I'll have to put stuff on over it, but I gained like 40 to 60 pounds over the course of like 3 months. It was like 3 months max. And I felt horrible, not just like health-wise, but like mentally, emotionally. People don't realize that's not always the same thing as mental and emotional. I have two brains. I have logic brain and I have emotion brain, and they are not the same. I'm gonna have to do so much to my eyebrows today. It's not even funny. Yeah, and that sent me into a huge depression. That's a big part of why I had to move back in with my parents, is the depression that put me into. This is not going well. I'm not gonna use this anymore. I should just throw it out, Morgan. It's like super old. I don't like the way this is feeling on my skin. One good thing about being a little oily is that, like, I can just wipe the excess off real nice. But yeah, I went from a healthy BMI, which doesn't actually matter. I was like 180-ish. I was like somewhere between like 140 and 180. And I'm 5'9", of an indeterminate age. You don't get to know. My birthday is October 11th, and that's all you get to know, as far as that's concerned. If you know, you know. Otherwise, this is another e.l.f. This is an ultra precise brow pencil in the shade of neutral brown, because the top, neither the top or the blonde look right on me. Anyway, so that was when my body started expanding. It is what it is. And I have been fighting ever since then to get my weight back down. My goal is like 190. I want to get under 200 so that when, you know, largish, you know, little bit chunkier than dad bod guys in movies and in shows and stuff are like, I'm 210, I'm a fat guy. I stopped feeling horrible about myself, because yeah, I will tell you right now. Right now it's 13 months post-natal. Since I had my baby. He's the cutest kid you will ever see. And we can have a Facebook poke battle style battle royale over if your kid is cuter than mine. Mostly because I love, you know, cute baby pics. Anyway, yeah, I had my child 13 months ago. Yeah, it's the 8th. So exactly 13 months ago. And I had been, I got really hypertensive during my pregnancy, which is why, at the end of the day, they went in and got him. And if you don't know, being hypertensive is my blood pressure was fudged. It was bad. It was very high. And it kept getting higher. The last like 2-3 months of my pregnancy, I ballooned. I stayed pretty steady through the first like 2.5 trimesters. And then all of a sudden it was like, yeah. My feet didn't swell at all until that like last 6 weeks-ish. And all of a sudden it was like really, really bad. And it was very quick. And I went up, my weight spiked, up to 260. I think it was 260. Yeah, which was not great. But the great thing about the women I was seeing for OB was that like they never made me feel like bad. Nobody ever was like, this is a concerning weight, you should not be gaining this much weight, which I will be eternally grateful for until the day I die, because my pregnancy was very unexpected. Very unexpected. Like sorry, I have an itch. Where I at the time thought I couldn't even get pregnant. Yeah. And what did I have to do next? I was gonna do eyeshadow with my this is my flower palette. I grabbed as many of those as I could at the time that they were selling. The palette shade is Intense Neutral, and I am an intense person. It says ES4, in case you find this somewhere and care. Yeah, my pregnancy was very, very unexpected, and which is why I'm a single mom living in my parents' basement. Just like we all want to do, right? It's the dream. Now I'm not using any primer. I don't put a lot on my face. Putting eyeshadow on is me putting a lot on my face. Yeah, so it was very unexpected, and my son's other genetic half and I did not part on great terms. He knows, for the record, in case anybody wants to hate on me, he knows. I made sure he knew. But I was not in a great emotional place. And then pregnancy hormones. So being feeling bad about my weight was not gonna help during this hard time. What are you doing? You're not fucking done. 2 from the inner corner and over the lid. Okay, but I'm not gonna use this brush. These are really nice brushes. This is a brush that it comes with. It's really nice. Anyway, so yeah, if my weight had been mentioned in a way that indicated it was bad, it would have made me feel like I was doing something wrong, which when it comes to your weight, something I've learned is it's not always like you're actively doing something wrong. And I have to remind myself of that, because otherwise I feel so bad and I feel guilty. I feel guilty even though the only person I'm affecting is myself. And that is just something I was really grateful for. It was really nice. But yeah, I think I spiked, actually it might have been closer to 280 at one point, which, seeing that number on a scale was devastating to me. You're still not done. Yeah, it was very hard. And so I had my son, and when I went in, they sliced me open and they yanked a little dude out of me. That is the only acceptable way to talk about a cesarean. I have a really weird pain tolerance, and I have a fear of needles, sorry, that's the shade I'm supposed to use next. And I have a fear of needles. I can usually handle it super well, because the problem for me is that I'll jerk, which, if you've ever been stuck with a needle, don't jerk. If you move while that needle is going in, A, it's gonna hurt more, and B, they're probably either gonna have to dig around to find your vein, or they're gonna have to take it out and put it back in, which is not great, especially like when you have a fear. But I didn't want an epidural, and it had nothing to do with drugging my baby, because as far as I know, that science has told me, it's fine. Like, you're not drugging your baby, you're not hurting your baby, let's try it like this. Yeah, that's a good way to get it on, and then we'll just blend. When in doubt, blend it out, right? There, that looks like about the same amount. Yeah. And it didn't have anything to do with like a religious reason, or anything. It was just, I'm afraid of needles. And I knew that, I have always known that, like, that epidural needle, if and when I had kids, I don't think I'm gonna do the last one. Yeah, it's just on the lash line, so I'm fine. I have always known that, if when I do the baby thing, the worst part about it is gonna be the epidural for me, like the having of the baby. And I'm arrogant enough. My self-confidence is just weird enough to make me arrogant enough when it comes to my pain tolerance, thinking that I could just, did I fix it? Sort of. There, whatever. That I could just like do it. And that small portion of my ego that I have was not helped by the fact that I was apparently having contractions. Because I went to labor and delivery, I had to go like 2-3 times. And that's like including when I actually like just because I was so hypertensive and it was getting late in my it was getting closer to the date. And my doctor was like, you need to go down to labor and delivery, and make sure they're not saying, make sure you're okay. and make sure they're not telling you, hey, we're going to get this baby now. What was I talking about? I was hypertensive. Talking about my weight, which we'll get back to. I lost my train of thought, so hold on. I'm going to go back and I'm going to figure out where I was. Well, you heard it from him. He's telling you about how this is just one part of a multi-part video because I ramble a lot and I don't talk real fast. So I'll try to link it below.